Well, hello. I didn't know anyone was watching. Today, we're going to be doing some beef jerky. I'd already cut it night before last and put it marinate. Today, going to load up the dehydrator, see how it goes. If you want to watch, you're more than welcome to. Hello people, today we are doing beef jerky. You want to watch me put this together? You're more than welcome. I'm just going to lay it out on the dehydrator. See the meat here actually has been marinating. I cut it and made it marinate, put it in night before last, and usually pick the bags up and squish them around whenever I think of it, every 4, 5, 6 hours, whatever, and just to get everything saturated well. I'm going to start out by loading up the trays. Using Nasco today. And these are actually pretty good dehydrators. Just putting this wire rack. Sometimes I will make it in the oven, and this is what I use. As a matter of fact, it's very quick to do it this way in the oven. But you gotta watch it, otherwise it'll overcook and get crispy and crappy. Now I'm gonna lay out a double row of paper towels here and blot the meat. And the reason I am doing that is because in dehydrating you want to remove all the moisture that you can. And shrinkage factor, actually there's going to be a 70 to 75% shrinkage of the meat. And you can put it on there wet, but if you do, the only thing that happens is it takes a hell of a lot longer to dehydrate. And also, you have one dirty ass dehydrator from all the drippings. See, I got this sitting on a plate because of the fact that I want it to be as sanitary as possible and not drip stuff all over the counter. And when I'm done, I clean and sanitize the counter and anything possible that the raw meat had touched. Now some of you people saying, boy, is he a germaphobe? Or the thing of it is, I kept meat for almost 40 years. And through my training, bacteria is easy to spread. And we want to end up with a safe product. I'm doing it at home here, but there's no artificial preservatives put in this in any way, shape, or form. But see, what I'm doing here is just laying it out. Now this is probably kind of boring to you guys to watch, but laying it out on this towel, I fill up this towel and then I will blot it. And then I'll move it over to the tray. But jerky is something actually that I have always liked. In all my years of cutting meat, I've never ever actually even considered trying to make it. But just since I've retired here and talking to some people and reading some tutorials, I decided I was going to try it because it sounded pretty easy. And my God, I got to tell you, if you've ever thought about doing this, go ahead and try it. The reality factor is it's very easy and kind of fun to do. Well, maybe in a way fun to do, but you know, not the fun type thing that makes you laugh or whatever. But what I'm doing here is just blotting off the excess moisture. Again, this will help it dry quicker because you're eliminating some of that moisture as it is. And the meat itself has already absorbed as much of the marinade as it possibly can. So at that point, see, it's blotted on the other side from laying it on those towels. At that point, I'm just going to start putting it on the dehydrator. Now, it can touch a little bit. However, you don't want to overlap it, and you don't want it to be touching a lot because what you need is room for air to come through all these little holes. You know, it's the air circulation that will dry the meat. And this is, in a way, it's kind of like a puzzle. You just kind of lay it around how best you see fit. And again, if you overpack these, in other words, if you put too much on a tray, then it will take it much longer to dry. So you want to keep that in mind when you're doing it. And again, I'm using Nesco, the dehydrator, and it has a fan in it and a temperature control. So you want it to dehydrate at 165 degrees. That's the highest temperature on the Nesco, and actually I think for most of them. Now if you do it in the oven, if you have a digital oven, 170 degrees usually is about the lowest temperature, and that's what you set it on to dehydrate. However, if you have an older oven like I do, and it's not digital, you put it on warm, put it on the lowest setting, and that will work that way. And then you put it in there on your racks. I do suggest that you my mind just went blank. I'll tell you, it sucks to get old. I do suggest that you put a pan on the bottom of the oven or some aluminum foil something to catch any drippings. Otherwise, you get your oven all skanky and funky on the bottom, and I can almost bet your wife will give you hell. Mine would. But nah, she's a great lady. Anyway, one thing you want to look for when you're getting meat for jerky, you want something that is extremely lean. I mean, all meat is going to have some fat, but as lean as possible. And the reason I say that is because of the fact that fat does not dehydrate well. And if you leave big clumps of fat on your meat, then fat, you know, it's okay to eat right away, but fat will, since it doesn't dry out, it will deteriorate, it will become rancid, and if you don't eat the meat quick enough, you may wind up having to throw some of it out. You really don't want to do that. Now, one thing I've found since I started making my jerky is, you know, you can play with the flavors. I've done quite a few different recipes. I always keep coming back to this one. I've added my own special touches to the marinade, and myself and most of the people that we have shared it with just really like this. So, you know, hopefully you guys will too, if you decide to try it. Well, I guess I gotta get another rack here. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, people. This little ass apartment kitchen is so small there's not enough counter space. So our dining area is on the other side of this counter divider. So I got to walk all the way around to put it on the table where I'm hooking up the dehydrator. So are you getting bored watching this? I mean, you know, if so, I understand. And I could shut it off and pick up a little bit more after I get it fully loaded and ready to dehydrate. Now, this is the first time I have used this dehydrator. I made apples in it, actually, yesterday and the day before. It worked great. But this is the first time I have used it for jerky. So, I'm hoping it'll go quick. The old Bronco dehydrator that I had, or actually still have, it works, and I liked it. I found it on one of the selling walls at a very cheap price. But it works. However, it is so damn slow. And with that, you have to be cautious because it is one that doesn't have controlled heating. Just has a little heating element in the bottom, and it relies entirely on that convection method of, you know, just the warm air circulating up around the meat. And that's why my son got this one for me, hoping it would be quicker. Now again, throughout this past winter, I made jerky, apples, etc. A number of things on these metal racks, putting them in the oven. I'm looking for a small piece to go right there. Anyway, and the oven method works good. You have to watch it closely though, or it'll get away from you it'll dry out, and it's just, you'll have problems. No, that's not going to work, is it? Now you do want to remember when you finish your jerky, make sure you wash your dehydrator pans well and stuff like that. And the reason I say that is because of the fact that I've seen some videos that people have put on the net, and they just get started and they're putting their jerky onto these trays, and they open up that dehydrator, and these trays are funky. I mean, look like they haven't been cleaned at all. I mean, you know, it's got to be bacteria laden. And you know, as far as foodborne illness, you got to be careful with bacteria. So here I go to put another one on.